Right, okay, so the first thing we need to do, I mean, the DME is already unplugged, so there's actually not a lot of electrical connectors that needs to come off, because we're going to drop the engine out from the bottom. So we'll have to take the wheels off first. That's probably the first thing we should do. Then I think it's the shocks. Under the shocks, under the steering, damn, what's the thing? The shaft of the steering wheel. Names escaped me. After we've done that, we'll have to disconnect the coolant hoses, so we'll have to dump coolant. But everything else should just come out with the subframe. There shouldn't be a lot that we actually have to unplug, other than like one harness, because I think it's part of the actual chassis. Clearly, I'm wearing safety approved shoes.
Naturally.
Naturally. Thongs are the Australian safety boots. That is so easy. I waste 20 minutes undoing one bolt when you can just use a drill. Oh, that one's a bit tight. The drill was only like $60 from Bunnings. It's not like an amazing one. It's better than none. Fuck me. A little bit of help. I wasn't even fucking that up. What else? No. Nice and easy. Well, that's on the floor. It's like losing a 10mm socket. Okay, so that's off. I mean, look at my beautiful fucking zip ties holding up my front bumper, because in the spirit of DIY shit, it didn't fit to have the factory mounting mechanism there, so I had to zip tie the bloody thing. But that'll be fixed this time around with a proper setup. You ready?
I'm ready.
Oh. Throw it on the ground.
Hell yeah.
Here we go. Sacred zip tie. Cut. Like my soul. This one's going to be a bit of a bitch to get to. Done. Look at that. Gone skis. These ones over here, nothing to this powerful cutting device. Gone. I think that's all of them. Well, look how loose that is.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's because the pod filter at the front, because of the way that I mounted that intake, it blocked the factory mount mechanism, so I couldn't. That's the bumper was like, even with those zip ties, the bumper always looked like it was sagging down, so the gap looked horrible. It's just these bolts in here, and that's it, and the wheels. The wheels have to come off.
Yeah.
So that's it, and then that'll come off, come straight up. So I just need to. I might do the wheels now, to be honest. Oh, this is going to be so tight, and I really hate undoing these. Lock nuts. Oh shit. Trying really gently to not damage Ken's wheels. Oh. Okay. Probably should leave these on until I've undone the other one and then lift the car up. And then once I lift the car up, then undo everything. Because otherwise the wheel will just fall off because the weight's still on the wheel.
Very true. I'll leave that bit in where you dropped it on your foot.
Yeah, on my foot. Yeah, that was fun.
Looks fun.
Sort of quite. Got a nice big black mark on my foot though. I don't think there's anything in the car that really needs to be unplugged. I mean, the fuel line's sort of, yeah, but it should be right. It's just mainly the coolant that I need to drain the coolant. Drop the coolant out of it. Do you want me to put it in like a bucket or something? I mean, it's like probably 10 litres of coolant.
Yeah, we'll chuck it in a bucket. Chuck it in a fucking bucket.
Sick. Alright. Cheers, man. Probably 10 litres at least. At least. I got like, to be honest, a little part of me says it's 12, but it should be at least 10. I actually do not enjoy doing this anymore, to be honest. Bloody hell. So the strut brace, it's eTorx 14 for those that are listening. If you ever want to know. Ow, that hurt.
How much clearance have we got under there?
What do you mean? We got plenty, really. Oh, yeah, we can lift that high. We'll have to lift it higher than that, actually.
It'll be fine then.
Yeah, full send, bro.
Perfect bit of equipment.
Look at us all being so thoughtful and trying to clean up after ourselves.
Creating the illusion anyway.
Yeah. I really need to make up a bracket for these bloody coils too. Because I didn't get the actual bolt-on kit. I got individual ones because I got sick of waiting for Precision Raceworks to make a kit 2-3 years ago. Alright, let's pull this shit out. Doing that concoction of electrical shit over in the corner there, that's a JB4. If you've got one and using it for making more power, don't. Then somewhat problematic on this engine. They have known to fail. However, they are pretty good for using as a supplementary fuel controller. That I will give them. They're pretty easy to set up and they do work really well, but as a boost controller, they're sort of not great, if I'm being honest. Which is why it's there, because it's going to eventually control our port injection setup that I'll need for the amount of things that I've decided to cram into this engine. I mean, we're supposed to fit 2 turbos in here.
They'll fit, they'll be fine.
I think they'll, to be honest, I sort of think they will fit, like with everything being custom, it should be okay, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, probably should take the intercooler out, eh? At least it's not that hard to take out. It's just a little bit shit to do. Undo these C-clamps, push the charge pipes out of the way, undo the 2 screws, the intercooler should fall out. Mind you, those that are wondering, yeah, that's gonna come out. The intercooler I got requires you to cut the crash bar, which may not be legal in some countries. So I'd probably recommend not getting it. However, it is the biggest one that I've seen on the market, and it's been pretty effective here in Australia for its heat dissipation. I think there are some crash bars that might fit, otherwise you have to get it modified and then re-engineered for it to be legal. It's like looking up and I get dust and shit in my eyes. It's amazing. And getting it out, I have to sort of like, there you go, got a bit of shit in my face. I have to sort of like wiggle it because it'll catch on the crash bar. Try not to look at it. So much dirt and shit. Oh, there we go. Oh, fuck, it is not light, but it's not heavy either. So as you can see, the bend in it is what makes it a pain in the ass. Not sure why Mishimoto did that, to be honest, but it actually is quite an effective intercooler. It is actually pretty good, not gonna lie. Best $1,000 I've spent. I actually need to pull my steering rack apart whilst this is down too, because when I pulled the electronic motor off a while ago to try and get the sump out and crap on one of the rebuilds, when I put it back in, it mustn't have put back in properly because I got nothing but error codes and the variable steering doesn't work. It's always permanently in Sport Plus now, which is not bad, but it's not great either. Like, I don't think any of the charge pipe designs in this are overly that user friendly, to be honest. Like, it's not their fault, it's more BMW's fault with just how they designed this. I mean, my hands are right now around this bloody steering column to try and do this bloody hose clamp. And whilst I could have put the hose clamp in a different position in the first place, it made everything else such more a pain in the ass, especially when you're trying to tighten stuff up. Yeah, this is just, you might be mindful that dust and stuff may fall on your lens, mate. Yeah, sorry. This is so fucking hard for me. Fucking hell.
Yay.
She's out. FTP charge port. This one probably won't be used again because of the setup that we're going for. Alright, we can now get to the coolant thing. All the magic stuff happens here. Let's drain some coolant, bitch. Not. What the fuck? Oh, there's that. Yeah, right, okay. Oh, it's such an awkward fucking angle to pull.
Yeah.
Obviously working. Sort of works. Considering I got covered in some of it. You can tell it's got air bubbles in it. It's slurping. I can feel it now.
Yeah.
Might help it if I set it to undo, not do up. I've only ever taken these shocks out once. And I also put the lowering springs in. Never again. Fucking worst thing in the world to do.
Yeah, shit. Oh, shit.
But we'll be dropping it with the shock still attached to the wheels anyways.
Yeah.
Also, you know what, like a low key, I've always wondered, because I was going to drop the subframe at one stage a long time ago, and I just sort of, I felt like I can't remember if I started and then stopped, but on low speed on concrete, when turning to the left, always a knocking sound, like something was loose.
Okay.
So I actually low key wonder, I will find one of the bolts was just never done up properly.
Maybe.
This is going to not go anywhere and then all of a sudden come off and I'm going to hurt myself. Oh, why they make it so fucking hard? Honestly, BMW. It's like you don't want anyone to repair it. Just buy a new one. Oh, sweet. She's empty, mate.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, boy. Not completely empty, but empty. Oh, alright, I'll take that.
We'll spill that.
Get the drill. Get me trusty drill. My $60 drill. Brum brum. Out and out. So that should just come off. Oh, this is, I think, the transmission cooler. And the last hose should be this fucker over here. Because it's like awkward enough that I can't actually grab this one with the pliers.
I've got an actual pick.
That's alright, I actually got it. I managed to get the enough.
Oh, it's alright then.
Nope, don't worry. It's all gravy.
Running away.
Baby.
Fine.
Fucking, I can't use this thing on it. And the intake pipe's in the way. As you guys may or may not see, this is my intake that was sitting here. We'll be doing a better job next time, obviously. Although I may actually just take that off while we're here. How to ruin a $120 filter by not installing it properly. There we go, that's off. Conveniently though, it is washable, so that will make things a little bit easier. I think the problem as to why the bonnet was so hard to undo, so for those that don't know, obviously my car has been in shambles for a while, but the bonnet latching system has never been great since the first rebuild, and I don't know why. However, I have a feeling it's probably because the bonnet latching cables have been sort of not put back where they originally came from. They've just been thrown in the engine bay, and I think that's the reason why our latching has been so shit. Alright, let's take this last hose off. Don't make it easy. There's no air conditioning unit in this anymore. There hasn't been for like nearly, I don't know, 2 years. I don't think this car's had aircon. Because I tried getting the guy out when we replaced the engine, like, and put that replacement pump in. I tried getting the guy out to come out and do it, and he was like, yeah, and then just never came out. Yeah, and then I got busy with a bunch of other shit, and I was like, whatever.
Yeah,
It was becoming, I think it was becoming winter at the time as well, so I wasn't like that concerned with it. I might see if I can get the drill in. Ow, cars. Right. To be honest, I'm sort of contemplating replacing this radiator anyway because it has been a little bit abused with me standing on on that and squashing the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I think it's ready to come out. I mean, it's a bit hard. There's a bit of shit here, but I can't really get to it whilst it's here. Oh, okay.
So easy.
Well, I just tried before and it didn't work. Then I go and do it and it's fine. Alright. I might need some assistance. I just sort of need you to see if you can.
You want to hold it?
Maybe just. Oh, I mean, how much can you get your fingers on that big fucking plug? Just pull it. Yeah, cool.
Do that.
Hey, look, there's no coolant.
Maybe it's just plug.
That's cool. It's just, it feels like it's caught on something else, you know? I don't know what it's. So, there's a small hose in the bottom of the radiator, that's why.
Do it.
Directly above me, I think.
There's
Big.
Oh, yeah. No, I can't find it. Use that one there.
Thank you. Maybe just.
Hold it.
I'm gonna let this shit drip because this one I feel like it's gonna have a fair bit of it in. Oh, can you just hold the radiator, please, mate? It's actually not held on by anything at the moment.
So what about
Maybe just grab the bottom of it. Up a bit. Essentially. That one can go back there. Apparently the other one was empty, so whatever. There we go. Look how much easier that was.
Hell yeah.
Let's undo this aircon one and we're free to go. So I'm actually going to delete this one anyway because my plan was that I'll just run 2 separate radiators for the trans and the oil and just bolt it all up, button it up nicely just so that I get rid of some of the crap and the auxiliary shit that's not really required. And that way I can run dedicated lines from the transmission and we can have the coolant system cool the coolant and the engine and not cool everything else, which would be great for our heats in summer. So I'm just going to undo the air conditioner hose and then she'll be good to go. And then we'll have access to everything.
Oh yeah.
This is the first time I've actually removed this, to be honest. Must be held on by something. Yeah. So I'll try.
Which one, dude?
I'll try. Well, let's try. Yay! Look at all this shit, as we would call it here in Oz. DIY math housing. I've actually since designed a 3D printed version of this, so and it prints and works out of nylon. Has been tested. That should be enough to hold the brake, because I don't want to drain the brake fluid, so that should be more than enough to hold it where it needs to as I drop the frame. Now I got to do the other side. Yay! Thanks, Sydney.
You've done it.
I did it. She's loose. I'll have to stay there till I can undo everything else. I think all our electrical shit under here is alright. I'll have to do the fuel hose, so you may want to stand back because it'll probably hit fuel. It should be pressurized. Should. Actually, that wasn't as pressurized as I thought it was.
Okay.
For those that are wondering, this is where the 2-meter fuel hose kit that we make goes to, under the car. It'll connect from here, this hose, all the way up to the engine. The 3-meter replaces this hose entirely at the fuel tank. Alright, so basically all we have left now is to undo this other bolt on the exhaust that we're going to cut off because it's seized. The other one was totally fine. I've undone the clamp up the other end of the exhaust that'll come off, then the heat shielding, and then I'll drop the the drive shaft bolts out of the drive shaft on the transmission end. Once that's done, then it's the 4 bolts on the subframe and the 4 bolts on the transmission mounts. Once that's done, everything should just fall out. All the wiring harness is disconnected. I had to disconnect like the electronic steering controller, the speed sensors on the wheels, the brake pad wear sensor. What else? I've tied the brake calipers up out of the way because I don't want to disconnect the brake lines and have to drain fluid and all that jazz. Most of the stuff in the engine bay should be disconnected now from the chassis, although there may be a few things, but we're not going to just drop it. We're going to put it on a crane and essentially lower it slowly so we can essentially see what does and doesn't need to be disconnected. But now I think it's time to start some grinding. Yeah, those things. That'll do. Alright. Here we go. Cut this bad boy off, eh? Ow, fuck, that was my finger. Damn it. It's coming.
It's coming.
Really slowly. Because it's like a compression, there we go, compression fitting.
Yep. Yeah, this.